any wealth in this world is not equates to my parents, not equates to my family, It worth nothing to me.
Yeah.
But if I had my family happy there, and no war in my country, we were poor, but we were happy.
Yeah.
And all things doesn't equate to money.
Yes.
Doesn't equate to wealth, a new car, a new house. But it is the pursuit of happiness that we all crave.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Luke McCredden, and that voice is the voice of John Gulzari. John is an amazing man, born in Afghanistan, made his way here in one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard. What John went through as a young boy, a young man, to get to Australia to start a new life, a better life, is simply amazing and something that we all need to hear. We all need to understand more about asylum seekers, what they go through, but also what they can offer. As you'll hear, John explains how much that he has done, but also his community have done. This is an understanding that we're all way too unfamiliar with. So I really hope that you can get something out of this podcast. I really hope that you can enjoy it. I really hope you can learn something. This is another topic that, as a community, we're well undereducated. John invited me into a friend's restaurant in Dandenong. We sat down, enjoyed some beautiful Afghani tea, and was adamant that he wanted to record there and show me some of his community. So you'll hear a fair bit of background noise, a fair bit of hustle and bustle in the background, but that's fine. That was all part of the day, and I was more than happy with that, as I was invited there as a guest and really enjoyed my time with John. So sit back and relax and try and take something out of this. This is episode 10 with John Gulzari. Well, John, thank you for sitting down with me. Thank you for the tea. It's magnificent. Is tea something that is a real specialty of Afghanistan?
That's well said, yes. It's extremely sort of what do you call a specialty, and many people, Afghanistan is quite renowned for their tea.
Yeah.
And we also have quotations.
Right.
It says, without drinking tea, you can't fight, or you can't make a war.
Oh, right, okay.
So what that means is that in Afghanistan, during course of history of past century, I should say, that there is consecutive sort of invasion.
Yep.
So initially it was like British, then it comes the Russians, then the Europeans, then US, then Pakistan, then and now it's Taliban, and allies. And also U.S. there as well, obviously Australia is there as well.
Yep.
So Afghanistan has always been a land of war, unfortunately, and we did not see a peace very much. So I grew up as being children of war.
Because and obviously we'll get into a bit of your story, but I'm led to believe you left when you were 17.
That's true. Yep.
So do you have any fond memories of Afghanistan?
Well, when I was young, I had a lot of my friends, family members around me. We played always.
Yeah.
So when you are tender and young age, you don't realize that the war is going on.
Okay. So there's a bit of naivety.
Yeah, that's right. So I had a lot of fond memories because when there is the special celebrations there, like we have a couple of Eid festivals, which are religious festivals, and also Nowruz, which is Afghan New Year, and some other local ceremonies like, housewarming or maybe, sort of childbirth. Yep. So all those occasions we celebrate a lot of things with the traditional instruments called dambura, which has only 2 strings.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And that's a local, instrument originates in Afghanistan?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. It's believed to be from that region.
Yep.
So there's called dambura, which is two-string guitar-like.
Okay.
And there's also another ones. There's we call it dolak or tabla. So there's like a drum.
Yep.
And for women it's separate, and for men it's different.
It's different.
Yep.
Okay.
And then our music's very much work on the harmonium,
Yeah.
which is like quite popular in India as well.
Yep,
And
yep.
Afghanistan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So it's not. So you do, you can sit here and look back, and you do have some nice memories, but obviously there was a point where it was time to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as you said, that I have a lot of fond memories growing up there, and all my parents were there, I mean, any wealth in this world is not equates to my parents, not equates to my family, It worth nothing to me.
Yeah.
But if I had my family happy there, and no war in my country, we were poor, but we were happy.
Yeah.
And all things doesn't equate to money.
Yes.
Doesn't equate to wealth, a new car, a new house. But it is the pursuit of happiness that we all crave. And that's quite crucial. Doesn't matter wherever you are. So peace, security, stability is crucial.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because the tribe that I'm from is called Hazara, Hazara.
Yep.
And this tribe has been persecuted for past 1.5 century.
Why?
That's a good question, because they doesn't follow the popular sect of Islam.
Right.
And they look different to the other large majority ethnicities.
Yep.
And that's why they've been persecuted. And history recorded that 62% of Hazara has been exterminated.
Yeah.
It's been ethnically cleansed.
Yeah.
It's been Holocaust or genocide, we call it.
Yes.
So growing up, always I had that thought in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Still, to this day, people have been slaughtered like sheep. And we have hard time in Afghanistan surviving, just barely surviving. And many people escape to go across the border to Pakistan.
Yep.
Same drama, because the Taliban is so powerful. The allies that they are supporting the Taliban, they are extremely powerful. They are even have atomic weapons.
Yeah.
And therefore, Hazaras have no chance. And we are living in central region of Afghanistan. It's very central.
Yep.
And it's also based on farming, agriculture. And as is Hazara Jat, which is the land of Hazaras.
Yep.
Which that Buraza Bamiyan once stood there.
Yeah.
So it's been extremely discriminated systematically. For example, the roads are never paved.
Yeah.
Electricity is not there. Water's irrigation is not there. And the other facilities like school, colleges, hospitals, nothing there.
It's hard for me to understand that, because it doesn't sound like, from what you're saying, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you're seemingly different and don't fit into the other's way of life.
That's right.
So that's the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then again, this location that we have for a century, Hazara has been forced into that location.
Okay.
So cutting them off from the northern region of Afghanistan.
Right.
So therefore, they don't have any associations with the other countries like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, or other regions.
Yep.
But they've been completely cut off. And that they're forced in central region. So whenever the government rage a war on these people like Hazaras, so what they do is they cut the supply line.
Okay.
And people will starve to death. And then that's agony. That's the unfortunate part of it. And still, this genocide is continuing to this modern day and age.
How many would still be, what would the population be of?
Before 19th century, Hazara population was 60% approximately of Afghanistan.
Right.
But now, as according to latest figures, says Hazaras between 15 to 20%.
Wow.
So 40% of them being genocide, being Holocaust, and being exterminated.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was there must have been a point for you when you thought it's now or never. Was it kind of that, or was it a group, or it has been going in waves where your people have been saying we need to leave?
Sure. Well, during the course of history since 1900, Hazara has been leaving the wave of migration. It's maybe 50 wave of migration that happened.
Okay.
And it's forced migration. because you don't have food there. Aggregation is poor because we are cornered in onto mountain regions.
Yeah.
Nothing grows there.
No.
There is no water there. So whatever is natural, whatever rainfall is there, and the winter, whatever the snow melting, that's what we have. Otherwise, we have nothing.
Yep.
No aggregation, no irrigation water system, no pipes like this, that we can open the tap and have water. No electricity that we can produce the water. Nothing like such. So life is quite harsh.
Yeah.
People are starving. People are struggling to make ends meet because they're barely surviving. And then whenever they're going across the country to, for example, to Pakistan or Iran to work and bring some money in, people have been slaughtered along the way in dozens. Just a couple of months ago, 30 people just slaughtered, just thrown into the street. And there is no government there to sort of protect Hazaras because...
Is there anything in place to protect Hazaras?
No. As far as I know, there's nothing. After the Bonn Agreement, which was like 2001 or 2, and then there says that they are creating a unity government in Afghanistan. Hazaras, some of them been brought to the government symbolically, that they were there, but they had no authority.
Okay.
And now slowly, as currently election is happening, so they have been thrown out.
Yeah.
Now there's no Hazaras there.
So now there's nothing.
Yeah.
No representation.
And currently the government and the tribes that they are predominantly Talibans, they are in the government. And as we speak, they are going to U.S. to make an agreement with the U.S. And initially when the international troops came to Afghanistan, the Hazaras welcomed them. Hazaras supported them because we were the most feared and persecuted nation, that we were fearful of our life.
Yeah.
So therefore we thought that our salvation is in the U.S. or NATO troops, that they can protect us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, post-2014, they exit Afghanistan.
Yep.
Our travel fourfolded, Past decade, there's thousands of people have been killed across the border in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And along the way, when they're making any journey, so life is quite harsh.
Yeah. It sounds, again, and the honesty of it is it's people like myself can't quite fathom that. It's amazing to hear, and that's what I feel is important with my podcast is all different people, like we were talking off air, have come on the podcast and got really great stories to tell in some format. A lot of them are relatable, but some of them are just, for a lot of us are hard to understand, but it's great to hear.
Yep. We are so blessed that we are in Australia. We are sort of being protected from the rest of the harshness of the world.
Yep.
I know we had our fair share of war, like the Anzac tragedy, and also the Japanese invasion and so on. Our people, which are Australians, they suffer a lot. But to modern day Australians, they possibly never experienced the issues, the genocide, the ethnic cleansing that I and my people have experienced.
Definitely, yeah.
And then it's hard to reckon with because when the people doesn't know, they don't have an empathy.
Yeah.
They says, why these refugees and migrants coming here?
Yes, yeah.
These refugees, they are not genuine.
Yeah.
I say, what's the definition of genuine refugee? If 62% of your people have been exterminated, isn't that a well-founded fear?
Yeah.
Isn't day in the past couple of thousands of people have been killed? Isn't that the reason of well-founded persecution? And now the government is trying, in Australia, is trying to force people to death danger in Afghanistan. And then while day in, day out, under the international forces, under the Afghan government, still my people have been killed in thousands.
Yeah.
And then Australian government says, this is safe. Which part of that is safe? Okay, it says if that region is not safe, you go to somewhere else.
What are the Australian government basing their comments about it being safe on?
It generally says that it's not our problem, refugees.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, there was an interesting quotations that I've heard once. That says, a fish stinks from head down. What that analogy says, that if the government is like anti-human rights, if the government is anti-refugees, doesn't matter whatever reasoning you bring it to them, whatever argument, whatever evidence you provide it to them, they will still be in denial because they cannot comprehend it. And because they said that they have made their mind. They said, we're no longer having refugees. We're now no longer accepting asylum seekers. We're closing our borders. We don't care about the world war, what's happening there. Even we are part of the U.S. coalitions that we went in Afghanistan and bombed some of that region. We went and fought, yeah. But they says the refugees that they are escaping the persecution is not our problem. So I really don't know what's going in their mind.
Yeah.
But it is fact that we are getting less than 1% of the total world refugees. Bear in mind that this year, the world refugee population is 70 million, over 70 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you compare it to the globe, which is 7 billion, so it means every 1%, 1 in 10 person is refugee. And then what percentage of that we are getting?
Yeah.
I mean, 0.5%,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
that's not 1%.
So so the argument that it's too much or too many, so to speak, is not really an argument.
That's right.
Yeah.
We heard the rumors that says that we're going to be swamped.
Yeah.
Going to be, I don't know, dole bludgers or whatever, this and that, But as we speak, there's 30,000 people on a bridging visa,
Yep.
which means that they are still at the standby. Some of their
Okay.
future is unknown for
Yep.
past 8 years.
Wow.
And there was protest 2-3 days ago in city about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what the government is doing at the moment, they have canceled their payment.
Okay.
They have canceled their payment of making a living. And some of those 30,000 people on bridging visas, they even don't have work right. They cannot speak, some of them can't speak even a word of English because they've been excluded from English language classes. In year 99, when I came here, I was excluded from 510 hours of English language. Studying higher education, no. And sponsoring my family, no. Sort of getting Medicare support or maybe getting job employment support, there was none. And I didn't have a right to leave the country. If I leave the country, I won't be able to allow to come back. Yeah.
So because I want to talk to you a bit about the when you first arrived and what that sort of couple of years looked like in terms of exactly what you were talking about was when you actually I'd like to go back even further if we can just to talk about the way you got here.
Sure.
How did that happen? I mean, it sounds simple. Oh, you got on a boat and off you came.
And I got it here.
It's not that nice and easy.
Sure. The journey take like more than a month.
Okay.
Yep. So I started when I was very young, tender age of 17.
Yep.
So I was quite naive. I was scared. I was fearful. I didn't know where to go, what to do.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak a word of English. So I was quite scared and shy and timid, and the world was looking quite a scary place, and the adults looking were frightening. I was looking very threatening. When I, in age of 17, with the help of people, smuggler from my neighboring village in the central region of Afghanistan, let my family to be there, and they barely made enough money for me to escape from there because I was second eldest. This happened, unfortunately, after when my elder brother was shot by Taliban.
Right.
So I had no choice, otherwise I would be next.
Yeah.
Day in, day out, they were coming and harassing us, taking all our weapons that we want to defend ourselves. They're taking it away. Any possessions, any money that we had, they're taking it away.
So the violence that they brought about, and obviously, unfortunately, with your brother, is it a case of are you fighting them, or are they just coming in and?
Sure, that's an interesting question because no, it says on the victors write the history. So they are the powerful force. Initially, they were supported by neighboring countries.
Yeah.
And all the militaries training them. And they were basically set out there to exterminate us yet again, after 1 century, because Hazara genocide started 1891 to 1893.
Okay. Yeah.
So 1993, the war started again. So it's exactly a century after when persecution of Hazaras happened.
Right.
So 2004 and 1994, 95, that's where they took extreme power.
Yep.
And then we had a defending party, which was by the name of Abdullah Mazari.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the guys says that, I would rather die as a legend rather than, be enslaved to them, and our women be taken and raped by them, and they will do all sorts of atrocities.
Yep.
He will die brave.
Yep.
And he started this movement to defend our regions.
Okay.
And Taliban didn't like that because this was like a needle, and he doesn't like it. So unfortunately, he was persecuted. He was assassinated 3 years after that. But he made a strong force where he could equip people with weapons and control their region.
Yep.
And he says that he doesn't want war, but he wants social justice.
Yep.
He wants social equity.
Yep.
And he wants the right of Hazaras to be recognized in the constitution. Because Hazaras are believed to be one of the Aboriginal people in Afghanistan.
Okay. Yep.
And therefore, as being Aboriginal in Afghanistan, they have the rights to vote. They have the rights to constitution. They have the rights to be in the parliament. They have the rights to be in decision-making process. And then they have the rights to equal collection of money, which is equal economy. Because why the Hazaras locality is being suppressed and discriminated and been neglected for centuries. And he says, we don't want to fight, we just want to have our rights.
Yep.
And they says, no, you can't have your rights because you're a minority and you are from this unpopular sect, which is Shia Islam.
Yep.
And basically, there was a commander by the name of Commander Niazi. He was commanding a huge force. He says, I will give you only 3 options. Hazaras have only 3 options in Afghanistan. Either you convert and follow us, so become a very good Muslim, and follow our idea, or leave the country peacefully, so even we want to kill you along the way, so that's fine, or prepare to die. Hazaras have no options. If they go to the sky, we pull them from the lake. If they go to the grave, in the ground, we'll pull them from their hair. So he even said that Uzbek, they have neighboring country called Uzbekistan, they can go there. Tajik, they can go to their country of origin, which is Tajikistan. But Hazaras have no other parent country, so they will go in Goristan, which means graveyard.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was quite powerful. And so this is we are not the group that we're making trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
We just wanted to protect ourselves against these savages, against these invaders.
And you got the opportunity to leave?
It was not an opportunity. I escaped.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be killed as well.
Yeah.
It was harsh. I was very young. My father collected barely enough money for me to sort of give to these people, smugglers, which is from friends of this Taliban, which you can bring me out from the passes safely.
Okay. Yep.
So we escaped in cover of darkness with a small ute type. So behind they will take all the goods, household goods, and put us there as well. And I escaped to a neighboring country, which is Pakistan.
Okay.
And again, this guy has created everything for me, because when I was in Pakistan, one thing we got to understand that they have 20-30% of population in Pakistan. They also have 30% of population in Afghanistan. So they operate in both sides of the border.
Yep.
There's a border called Durand Line, which was by this British guy, Durand, which he draw a line between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So in a sense, they operate in both sides of the border.
Yeah.
And they have extreme power.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you, was it in Pakistan that you were able to get onto a boat?
No. In Pakistan, they have the links to the airports and to the offices which they create documents and IDs.
Yep.
So they've created me an ID, false ID.
Yep.
And they managed to get me out of the airport. So we flew from Pakistan.
Okay, so you flew
to Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah, and then made your way.
So when I was in Indonesia, so I spent nearly a month there, a couple of weeks. So we're going from hideouts to hideouts.
Yeah.
And
that whole time, is it obviously must be very stressful, must be, a very high anxiety sort of time for you, because I'm assuming you just don't want to be seen or found by anyone.
Yeah, true. I was 17. There was a lot of adults with me, but they were all strangers.
Yeah.
It was quite scary. Imagine being 17, you know. Some people can't even go and work in McDonald's, you know. Yeah. So it was quite fearful and scary. I couldn't speak English and didn't know where to go, who to contact, who to ask for help.
Yep.
I didn't know UN office. I didn't know if there was any protections available. I just wanted to go somewhere safe. And these people, smugglers, that we had a lot of US dollars, like 3,000 left with me there.
Yep.
So it's taken this money and taken us from hideouts to hideouts, just protecting us from the police, because they were continually patrolling the area and trying to get refugees and deport them.
Yep.
And put them, some of them, in a jail, so they are asked for bribe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we went from Jakarta to sort of to Bali, from there to Lombok. I know people go for a holiday, but it was no holiday for me. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have
quite
been.
Scary. Yep.
So when you is there, I suppose the idea of, or is the idea to leave there to come to Australia? Like, is that a plan, or? And is that something you're aware of as a 17-year-old going from hideout to hideout?
Yeah, sure. It was never part of the plan. We never know where Australia is.
Yep.
Before that, I never knew where Australia is.
Right.
And I didn't know about this country called Australia. I didn't know there's kangaroos. I didn't know there's opera house. I didn't know nothing. Because the village that I came from, we don't have TV. We don't have internet. We don't have water supplies. We don't have radios. We don't have newspapers. Nothing.
Yep.
How would I know?
Yeah.
So it's part of the people smugglers that they know where to take these people for safety.
Yep.
So collecting a large sum of money, in excess of like $4,000 or 5,000.
Yep.
We just says take us to another country which is safe, which is going to accept us there to be living peacefully. That's it.
But even when you're going there, you still don't really know.
Yeah.
Like,
they don't know.
You don't know what, like, your I suppose your wish is take us somewhere safe where they'll accept us, but realistically you don't know if that's where you're actually going to end up.
No.
Australia could have been no different to home or worse, or
Yep. So in 99, when I came in Indonesia, I knew there was a boat or two who left Indonesia because people were talking among each other.
Yeah.
And they said, they go to this country called Australia. I said, where is that? How long would that take? He says, a couple of weeks. Oh, scary.
Yeah.
Are they accepted at this? Nobody knew. So we didn't know that where we're going, but we just wanted somewhere safe.
Yeah.
But we heard the rumors that, be careful, because whenever these fishermen, they will take you, they will just jump at the night and they'll come back and leave you stranded in the middle of ocean. So in my whole life, I've never seen a sea. I never seen a boat, and I never swam.
So the odds were a little bit against you.
It was a bit far too much.
A lot.
And I heard this scary news that there's big whales at the sea that they gobble the whole boat.
Yeah.
I heard there's sharks.
Yeah.
They will knock the boat down and they'll eat people alive.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And
but there was still obviously enough hope that you just were willing to risk those.
Well, your life is hanging in the balance. You just don't think rationally.
Yeah.
You just jump in.
Sure.
Yeah. And I know that it's been proven by that SBS documentary, Go Back Where You Come From, that those beautiful Australians, those hardworking Australians, they said, one of the guys said there that, my life is at risk. My family is don't know whether they're going to survive. I'll jump in. I don't care whatever the consequences is. And it's proven that, a desperate problem requires desperate measures. And when your life is hanging in the balance, you just don't think, you just jump.
Yeah.
For example, take a good example. If one of your fellows, your neighbors, your house is burning, as being human, as being sensitive and touchy and so on, you know that there is risk. You know you are ill-equipped. You know that you don't have any safety gears, but you still try to force your way into that house and try to rescue those people. That's human instinct.
Human.
Yeah. And that's why why I know this? Because I'm a volunteer firefighter.
There you go. Fantastic.
Again, I said, then on that time, you don't think rationally that, I should go and put my gear on.
Yeah.
I put my hard hat on. I go and wear some gloves before I jump in and rescue these people,
Yeah.
You just barefoot, bare cloth, you just jump in and get them out,
Yeah.
before they burn to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not much of it's not a tough decision then when it comes to fleeing in the hope of landing somewhere safe and somewhere that will be accepting. It's just jump in and.
Initially, I did sort of protest and said I don't want to go and leave my family because let's die here together.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's not on our honor, that I'll leave my sisters, my mom, my younger brothers to die there, and I try to save myself. That's not on because everybody's family, no matter you are in Australia, no matter in Afghanistan, family is family, and they're precious to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whatever happen, I'll die there. That's it.
John, have you been in communication since you've been in Australia with your family?
Yes, I have. But before that, I'd like to go the part of that what happened after when I.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. One night, in the middle of the night, there's people, smugglers with a couple of SUVs came and rock up, I said, hurry up, let's go, not enough time. Let's move in the cover of darkness. And they brought us from that hotel to the seaside. We thought there's maybe a huge ship waiting for us. So we got to go the biggest ship that we can find,
Yeah.
And we went to the seaside because we wanted to collect bigger money, And we got all our money and all possessions. We said, okay, we got it. And when we went to the seaside, we see that there's little boat wobbling at the sea, I said, where's the big one? So we're going to get there, just jump on this one first.
Right.
So they drag us there, a couple of meters away from the shore. And we sit in this boat with like 40 people in this fishing boat, leaky, squeaky, and there was fume coming out.
Oh, gosh.
And we were put in under the cavity, and our cover was on top of us.
Yeah.
So all coughing, choking, and we have gut ache, and we're sick and vomiting.
Oh.
And we just traveled the whole night, and in the middle of the night. And in the morning, we just came out of the sea, and then we still see small islands at the left-hand side. And we just go in there. And we're talking to this old captain and young captain that where we're going, how long going to get there. He just say like this, showing us 10 fingers.
Right.
We're getting there this much. We say, okay, maybe 10 days. So 10 days pass. We says, how are we going to get there? When we going to get there? This is, again, so bloody hell. 10 days ago, you said 10 days. 10 days never up. Yeah. So we were quite scary at the night. We just, two person was guarding this boat captains because they says that they will drop you at the sea and they will escape and run back to their homes.
Right. Okay.
And there was Russian supplies. Everything was very limited.
Yeah.
So we did not have much. And we were feeling sick as well anyway, so nobody wanted to eat anything.
True.
Just wanted to get there.
Yeah.
It took 12 nights and 12 days. I couldn't swim.
Yeah.
And I remember after a week of traveling by this boat, which was going 5 km an hour, and it's fuming, and it was everything was low supply, and we were struggling there.
Yeah.
One night was extremely scary. We thought we all drowned and dead that night, but that night started like strong wind started, current started, and wave was like going up and down, and the boat was like wobbling,
Yeah.
And there's 2-3 meter waves coming on this little boat, fishing boat. And we didn't have much things. Some of them, we have a safety vest, some of us we don't. And we did not have any satellite phone or any GPS or any compass or things like that. So late in night, on that night that we just hold each other, and sort of we put arms against each other, like make a human chain.
Yep.
And the sea was extremely rough. We were very, very scary, and especially for myself because I could not swim.
Yeah.
I said, God help me, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to spend money and try to rescue myself and eventually save my family.
Yeah.
That's it, because a lot of people are crying, praying, I suppose that they were praying about their final wishes.
Yeah.
And some of them remembering to their kids and their families. Yes, it was quite rough. So we've been fighting and water was pouring in on us. We had a couple of cushions that we put underneath, but they were just bought freshly from the shop. So the seal was not broken. So what we did is we took this one off and put it on top of us because it was like water was pouring in. You know, and this is if we're not going to die of the sea, we're going to die of what do you call pneumonia or something. You know, feeling cold.
Yeah.
Yep. So while fighting this water, and sea rough, and like boat is nearly drowning, and we couldn't call anybody for help.
Yeah.
So around midnight, I think I just fell asleep, and didn't know what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Everybody was crying, shouting, and it was like hours that we fought with this sea, rough sea. Went to sleep, and when I woke up early in the morning, it was like sun, like layers coming and touching my eyes. So opened my eye, I see a couple of other people are awake on that boat as well. I see the sea was extremely calm. I says, "Is that the sea that happened last night?" I said, "Oh, just thanks God that I've made this ordeal." So everybody was sort of happy. They say, "Oh, we survived this ordeal," and so it took 12 nights and 12 days before we saw the Australian Navy ship. Which they came and rescued us. So I'm still so grateful to Australian people who saved my life, and I owe it to them.
That's amazing. It must have been an unbelievably scary
it was
couple of weeks and uncomfortable. Nothing about it was luxurious from the sounds of things. So that the Navy were the people that came and rescued you ultimately. Were hospitable. Were
initially, when they came down with this commando small little boat, which was fast boat with rubber board, and there was 10, 12 soldiers with all the commando style.
Yeah.
They have all the semi-automatic weapons.
Yep.
We thought they're going to fire on us and that's it, We're going to die here. So we're scared, we hide out. And when they came over close to us, just hands up, throw any weapons that you have, You bring any drugs or anything? I said, no, we're not bringing anything. We are refugees, asylum seeker. We wanted to seek asylum. And that's all, We don't have any weapons. We don't have any drugs, nothing. So they've circled the boat a couple of times, and then in the end they says that, when they're satisfied that we are asylum seekers, so they jump in on our boat and try to take our names and checked everywhere. When they made sure that it doesn't have any weapons or any drugs or anything, then they tried to chain us to their big Navy ship and took us, and they got us all transferred to that Navy ship, so we were behind that ship. It took another day before we reached Broome, Western Australia. And it was another story after that.
Well. So it's just, you must have felt like a lifetime of leaving Indonesia arriving in Broome.
So sick of sea. We were all sick to our guts. Throwing and vomiting. I've never seen sea sickness. Also got it to me, and a lot of people are just throwing up.
Oh, it's a horrible feeling.
The
I suppose the image I get a lot of the time of some of the camps and so forth that refugees come to isn't always a great image in my mind, and I've never had the opportunity to see any of them. But I guess someone in your position at the time, it was probably a pretty comforting image, I'm assuming, or was it still a little? Well, there would have been the unknown as well, so it probably wasn't all smiles. But what was the feeling like when I guess you hit the mainland and they showed you where you were going to call home for the next, unknown at the time?
So while we're coming from the sea towards Australia, I could see that this big land, which was like 100 meters from the seashore, and they were all red. It's like red mud, And when we brought him, when I was trying to put the first step on the land, first of all, I was just so happy, so joyful, I said that I'm out of that misery, of boat, wobbling and vomiting and sick and stomachache, headache and so on. And then finally, after this 2 weeks, sound like 2 years, that I'm on the land now. And I was quite, overjoyed that we touched the land. So when I see this red mud, and there was Western Australia is like sunburned country, so it looks like I've landed on Mars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really look outback Mars,
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just, they took us to this middle of jungle, which is the RAF base in Broome, Western Australia.
Yeah.
We spent 3 months there, but unfortunately some people spent 5 years there. The climate was extremely hot, and there was a couple of reservoirs, and there was a couple of other compounds. This camp was made for Royal Air Force, but they housed 300 people. But one day I remember that there was 1,500 people in that camp.
Wow.
Some people were in the tent.
Yeah.
We were happy because we were some of the first residents.
Yeah.
So just 100 people there.
Yeah.
So we were in the containers, which they had kind of in a cooler, evaporative cooler, and we were just these 2 bunkers that we sleep on that.
So you had a bit of comfort.
It was a bit comfortable, But the other people was like in the tent.
Yeah.
And temperature was, I never feel this hot,
Yeah.
This burning hot,
Yeah.
It's like over 40 degrees always. Yeah. Extremely hot.
Yeah.
And we were like in the middle of jungle that there was no civilizations for miles and miles.
Yep.
It was poorly accommodated. There was not enough sanitations, not plenty of doctors or medical staffs. There was nothing else, only one canteen, and everybody was routine, like prisoners, to go in morning, line up, afternoon and night. And then in the night, the guards will come twice, thrice with a torch, checking you and checking your ID, taking your name away.
Yeah.
But there was no names. There was only the number.
Okay.
Mine was C for Charlie 0086. And my name was taken away. We thought like, there we go. We become another product, So that's our name.
Yeah.
And there we have left 3 months. It was quite a struggle there.
Yeah. So in hindsight, looking back and thinking now of people that are in the camps similar to that, is it a system that's not run properly, do you think?
It's been managed by external companies, which is CERCO.
Yep.
SERCO, CERCO. They are the one who manage the prisons as well.
Yep.
The speed cameras and so on. They are quite rough, and they bring a lot of this, this international boxers and this guards that they run like prison.
Okay.
And it's like treatment is quite rough, and people like forced try to sort of fix them up, I should say, try to administer them, or try to sort of discipline them,
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that camp was, that where I was, I think is far better than there are some of other people been housed in Wimmera.
Yep.
Which is extremely harsh.
Okay.
The weather is very hot. That's the place where the atom bomb experiment was happening,
Yeah.
So desert, that there's no civilization there.
So how did they determine after 3 months that you would be taken out of there, or at least out of there, or?
Yeah, so everybody was interviewed, and based on individual interviews that they found me that I have well-founded fear of persecution by Taliban.
Yep.
Because of my ethnicity, because of my race, because of my nationality, that I'm Hazara.
Yep.
And century of persecution and extermination of my people. That qualifies me to be as a person who find it well-founded fear.
Yep.
And need of protection. And there's thousands like me that currently in the same situation, but unfortunately, they are here, but they are not being accepted.
Yeah. Okay. And is it why? Excuse me. Why do you think there's so much delay in the acceptance of more people?
Yeah, because the government has decided, or maybe politicians have decided, that they no longer want to portray Australia as being human rights champion.
Yeah. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's politicians, a particular group of politicians, which was from far right, that they don't want Australia to be as kind,
Yep.
Being champion of human rights, being champion of refugee rights, being sort of humane. So they're racing to the bottoms on who is the first to violate the human rights.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason. People are, now that they are hardworking, they're paying their tax, they've been very loyal to Australia, they've been active citizens like myself, like helping with Anzac, going to Australia Day, helping with Country Fire Authority. When Queensland was burnt, I went to collect donations.
Okay.
And when there was flooding in Queensland, when Victoria was burned, I collect donations, try to be part of it. When there was Olympic game, I want to be volunteer, but my application been rejected.
Okay.
And there's many of other countless those things.
Yeah.
I'm part of the groups which we donate blood. So last week I've collected like 34 donations, and they saved 150 lives in Australia.
Great.
It's my way of saying thank you to Australia and paying back that kindness that they've given me 2 decades ago.
And do you think that that's the case with a lot of people in your situation?
It's certainly the case with a lot of people. This street where we sit now, it was a ghost town before 2000.
Okay.
Crime was extremely high. A friend of mine who just came out of the camp, his name was Ali Panahi, he's been stepped just outside here on the daylight. And people cannot walk here after 5 p.m. But now you come tonight and see the shop. Shops are open until 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And there's more than 150 Afghani shops.
Yep.
So it's become a center of trade and commerce.
Yeah.
And has been contributing greatly to Dandenong economy as well as Australia economy.
Yep.
This is one example.
Yeah.
But
what do you think what do you see some of the negative connotations with situations like you're talking about, giving back to community and all that, which is obviously a very high percentage, but the focus sometimes is on the minority, the small percent of trouble that we have, which isn't, by the way, always people coming from other nations or anything. It's local,
internal,
a lot of it.
Yeah, local.
But what does it frustrate you seeing the focus on the negative, especially knowing how much you do personally, but also the community around you and around here as you're talking about?
Yep. Most definitely it frustrates me. Reason being because like asylum seeker and refugees become a scapegoat to no matter whatever bad happen in this country. For example, if the economy is not good, they will blame that, because these asylum seekers came to our country, that's why the economy went bad. Even the politicians thinking of that how poorly they manage our economy, they should do better. But I'm very, very, they're dumbfounded. I'm very sad to say that they're blaming asylum seekers. When the job employment, for example, city of Melbourne has 5%, but Dandenong has 15%. So they will blame asylum seekers because 3,000 asylum seekers came here, that's why economy is struggling. And they are all on Centrelink, so that's why we can't cope with Centrelink. I said, you kidding me? What's wrong with you? Go and put your eggs together and be a good economy manager and run the economy well so you don't struggle. And then when the trouble starts, that people are being called by their race rather than their name, you know? Oh, this black person. Oh, this Caucasian. Oh, this X. Oh, this Y, you know? But you never blame that person that, this Muslim. What's wrong with you? You got to pinpoint that person. Put his name. Don't just generalize it so all the other refugees being punished as well.
Do you think the media plays a really big part of labels and the blame game and all that?
One thing I'm grateful to you is because you're showing the other side of narrative. Who runs the country? Politicians. Who run the politicians is the media. Like Rupert Murdoch. And there's many more like him.
Sure.
So what they want, because once I saw an article on newspaper which says, we just don't change the politician, we change the government. If we don't like them, we throw them out and get another ones. What that means is that they're trying to sort of run their business on people's misery. They try to negative advertisement run faster, sell better.
Sells,
it sells. So that's why they don't care about social justice and harmony and and multiculturalism and diversity, they care about their back pocket.
Yep.
They want to run the media. They want to sell their news.
If you had the spotlight in the media or in the government, and it's probably a tricky one because it's probably more than just one thing, but what would your message be to just the public about those misconceptions?
Yeah, sure. I think the ignorance that play a major part, because for example, previous governments did, they start employing the issue of negativity.
Yep.
They start dividing and ruling this country.
Yep.
Because they says, we can divide them between Aussies and Asians. We can divide them between Christians and Muslims.
Is that because it's easy? Because they see it as an easy divide because they use names or labels?
Yeah, sure. Because that's one of the point. Because when people are busy fighting each other, they would like to run the country the way they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very sad to say that a lot of Aussies have been sold off to the idea that you go play footy, I'm not here to critique the footy, but you go play footy, you go to casino, you go to Formula One, you go to horse racing, you go to dog racing.
Yep.
When I was Queensland, they were betting on beetles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cane
go
toads.
chicken racing, you go and cane toads, So when you're busy with all those things, with sportings, there's a public, you don't worry. We'll take care of the government. We'll take care of the politics. You just go and enjoy, put some shrimps on the barbie, have a stubby, put in loud music, enjoy the racings, and go bait and punting, on those things, which I know one of the major cause of family violence, one of the major cause of violence against women is the gambling.
Yeah.
Because I was advocating for getting rid of the pokies because they're killing our people.
Yeah.
They tell people that you should go busy with them. You should go and start hating these asylum seeker migrants because they come here to take your job away, and Aussies doesn't have a job. They come here to be burden on the dole. While we see that over 70% of all asylum seeker and refugees, they are extremely successful entrepreneurs, such as myself. I'm just currently completing my master's. I've completed Master of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and I've run several businesses. So far, I'm operating 4 businesses.
Fantastic.
And there's hundreds of other people which they are running extremely successful businesses, and they've been extremely successful as being entrepreneurs, even despite of the discriminations that they cannot find a job, despite that their qualification is not recognized, overseas qualification, despite that they've been denied English language, despite that they've been denied higher education at I was in one step. So, despite all those adversities, they've tried to contribute to this country because wherever we are is our homeland, and we will protect it till death.
Yeah.
And it is. We want to be active citizens. We want to contribute, make this place a better place for all of us, and be part of multiculturalism. The rest of the world is learning from Australia.
Yeah. Do you think Australia's in a good? I've heard you say this on YouTube on a video that Australia is the leader in that space. And do you believe that?
I most definitely do.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed that for past 2 decades that I call Dandenong home.
Yeah.
This year, for your information, that this year, Dandenong has become the most multicultural locality in Australia.
Wow. There you go.
Most multicultural.
Yep.
So there's over 200 nationalities.
Wow.
Over 250 languages.
Yeah.
And over 50 religions.
Amazing.
And this is one of the most multicultural city in Australia.
Yep.
And I think we should keep that tradition alive because it's a shame to let it go.
Yeah.
And then reason being because multiculturalism is working. I know many people try to, multiculturalism is not working, let's change it to something else, And I believe the reason multicultural is working because, as saying in English, 2 heads is better than 1.
Yeah.
and when we are one head, we will think only one way,
Yeah. I suppose, one thing I'd like to ask if I can, given that you've now been, how long have you been here actually?
20 years.
20. Fantastic. So in that 20 years, have you had the opportunity to get in touch with your family? Would you ever go back to Afghanistan to visit at any point in time, or is it something that's not ever on the cards for you?
First question.
Yeah.
Well, after I left a year or two, I helped my family to move across the border. So I knew that they are safe because they can't live in Afghanistan anymore.
Yep.
Because of the history of violence that happened, persecution of my people that happened, and people day in, day out, they've been slaughtered and thrown in the street and nobody cares. Unfortunately, like around 2001, after soon I left, my father went missing and he disappeared. We never heard from him since then. Possibly he's dead. So it's 19 years, otherwise he would have come. He never turned up. We never know where he is. And my mom has died as well because it's far too much for them. That's when my brother killed. I seek asylum here. One of my brother was in Indonesia for 5 years. He was just accepted as being a refugee on UN quota, and he flew here. But now he's struggling to get his citizenship because the government is turning his back on asylum seeker and refugees.
Yep.
He's been for past 5 years. He's been here, working hard, paying taxes, being a loyal and good citizen. Never made any crimes. Always paid his due, but still has been denied of being Australian citizen, becoming Australian citizen. And then moving across the border from my family. For mom, I think my mom is unfortunately too much. Some 5 years ago, she has died of heart attack. And one of my sisters as well, she died. So.
Yeah. I'm really sorry.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to sponsor them, bring them here, but it never happened.
Is there enough assistance from Australia to, like, in this example, help you help them?
Not really, no. Because I applied 3, 4, 5 times. Each time has been knocked back. We don't want any more refugees. I said, well, I'm going to look after them, so what do you care about?
Yeah.
I'll house them. I'll pay for their airfares. I'll pay for their medical. And they'll say no.
It's tough to understand.
Yeah.
It's tough to understand, and I'm certainly, not looking at it from your viewpoint, John, and it must be extremely frustrating.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Sorry. Sure. I'm sorry. I hope I haven't crossed the line.
Yep. That's
in any of my
okay.
questioning.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
But I think it's it's for me it's learning too. So what I'm hearing is there's still a long way to go to our own government to understand. Again, asking you a similar question to what I asked about your message to the public. If there was a message to the government or whoever needs to know some of the stuff, some of this, what is that message?
Yeah, so the second part of the question was that I've been to Afghanistan and never went back.
Yeah.
Because I still have that chilly memories and
course.
painful memories.
Yeah.
So it's never safe.
No. Yeah.
I suppose there's a couple of years ago, some 5 years ago, there was a poll conducted. And the question was, is it fair to lock women, children, and elderly in the detention center? Do you know the outcome of that? Definitely not. And maybe most of the listeners may not know.
Probably not.
52%, they says, yes, it is fair to lock children, women, elderly, and normal male who escaped the persecution to lock them in detention center.
Based on what?
Based on fear-mongering, based on us and them, based on, oh, we've been swarmed by these refugees, based on that they're coming here to steal your job, based on that, oh, they are here to burden us, based on that, oh, this foreigners doesn't integrate, based on, oh, they are bludging on doors, based on, oh, while they are not paying their dues.
So what I'm hearing is it's based on a misconception.
True, very true. Based on fear-mongering, based on misconceptions, based on keeping people ignorant because they control the media and they control the public forum where the media has been broadcasted. But 48% says no, it's not fair. As Aussies, we use terms fair dinkum. It's not fair, it's not dinkum to lock women's, children's, elderly, and people who have been damaged psychologically, mentally from the war and persecution to lock in detention center for 5 years. And in the end, either they will commit suicide or when they are released to the community, they are mentally damaged. And we taxpayers pay $1,000 to fix them up. That's really dumb. Yeah. It is really inhumane. It's really unjust. And it's a dumb idea. Because we make them psycho and we release them in community.
So what is the, I suppose, I'm sure there's plenty being done, but how do we increase that 48% to 100%? No, it's not right.
Just a month ago, there was another poll conducted because nowadays the hot topic is this Sri Lankan family with 2 children born in Australia. And the government is trying to forcefully deport them to Sri Lanka because the government there at the moment, they are friend of, happen to be our politicians. And he visited Australia a couple of years ago. And Tamil people, unfortunately, have been genocide. If you watch a movie called No Fly Zone, which is telecasted in Melbourne as well, is by 2 American journalists who went and recorded this thing with the video and pictures. And they call the No Fire Zone. You'll see the genocide and extermination of Tamil people in the video. But still people deny that this never happened. Why? Because only victors write the history. And then this couple has been forcefully tried to deport them, and now they've been taken out from the in Queensland, brought it to Melbourne Detention Centre, and now they're forced in Christmas Island because protesters cannot reach there. And now there's a new poll has been conducted. It says, is it fair to deport this family? 32% that says, no, it's not fair to deport them. But over like 68% says, yes, get rid of them. We don't want them here. Even the Aussies born here, they're not Aussies because they're born to this Sri Lankan family. What's wrong with this society? I can't understand.
No.
Because any person, doesn't matter of your caste, creed, ethnicity, religion, color, race. If you're born in Australia, you're Australian. Isn't that so?
Absolutely.
That's so. If that's so, why these 2 children has been denied their basic right? Why? Because they are from persecuted minority? Why? Because their family escaped the persecution? And what's their fault? Their innocence. They are 3 years or 5 years old kid. What would they know? They've never been to Sri Lanka. They never spoke the language. And then why we are availing them, our children of Australia, to this danger? We know that they've been exterminated. We know that genocide happened before our eyes. Even the media did not show it here because we happen to be friends of the Prime Minister. But it's happening. the no-fire zone. You watch the documentary.
Yep.
And you'll see it right in front of your eyes. So that's wrong.
Absolutely.
And this, whoever is saying over 70%, that says yes, that's fair and deport them, they're not right. Their right frame of mind.
No.
They're only buying to the politicians.
Yeah.
They're only buying to the message that's put out by media.
That's it.
They're only buying to fear-mongering.
Yeah.
They're only buying to be unhuman. If they look in their heart, if they know that if any religion values they have, if any ethics they have, if any morals they have, they would never ever say, okay, yes, send these 2 kids, under 5 years old kids, and let them to be killed, murdered in the hand of that government.
I can't help but think of my own children.
Yeah.
You're putting and not that you can put yourself exactly in those shoes, but just even the thought of it, John.
Think of your own children.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
To everybody, to every family, the children are precious.
And then ask yourself the question in that poll again.
Yeah.
And that's what, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't happen enough, and that's putting yourself in other people's shoes as much as you can to feel what that might feel like.
Yeah. So the fear-mongering, the anti-asylum seeker sentiments, this labeling of the gang, the thug, the whatever, is day by day creeping up. And I'm sad to say that John Howard in 1999 started all this, let this genie out of the bottle. And unfortunately, to make this beautiful for past decade and a half till 2010, I didn't see the impact of this fear-mongering, racism, and anti-migrant sentiments and sort of pigeonholing people. But it's slowly taking effect.
Yeah.
And one day we'll have like civil war here.
Yeah.
Why we want to do that? We already have an exemplary society here, egalitarian, democratic, obeying rule of law. There's beautiful laws. And that anti-discrimination laws has been loosened up. So people have been intentionally, they have been abused and swear. They say, go back where you come from. They says, oh, you not belong here. Or you're not from here. Or your color of your skin doesn't look like ordinary Australians. Is that what we want?
No.
We want to be racist society. We want to be discriminating on human rights. We want to be discriminating on ethnicity, on religion, on gender. No. We are far bigger than that. As we said, we are Larrikans, fair income Australia.
Yep.
Initially, many of your listeners may not know, but when the Charter of Human Rights been put in place, Australia was the key architect behind that.
Yep.
In 1949 and 51, Geneva Convention.
Right.
What happened? Have we lost our morals? We become different people.
Yeah.
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 We got to ask ourselves these questions.
Yeah.
Because in the international community, people are just spitting on us, people laughing on us. And when Dick Smith says, they say, oh, we've been swamped, 22 million here. People just laugh at us. They say, are you kidding me? India is 200 billion.
Yeah.
They should say that they've been swamped.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not us.
So we got to ask these critical questions.
Yep.
That are we gonna be the meanest, the nastiest, the very, very bad name given to us in the international community, or no? On the other hand, we want to be this beautiful Australian society, hardworking, have a fair go for all. We say give them a fair go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Be fair income.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
And be proud.
Be proud of who we are and our achievement of past 200 years.
Yeah.
And
be proud of the multiculturalism.
Yeah. We are the first nation who is competing at the first world,
Yeah.
And we should be keeping that tradition alive.
We should.
We have more potentials. We have more to give.
Yeah.
We have larger land. Our land mass is as bigger as Europe combined.
Yeah.
And many of them is unoccupied. And we have our resources doing the best. Our economy is one of the best in the world, What we are fearing about, the number of total asylum seekers doesn't reach to 100,000. Yeah? And keep in mind, there are 70 million asylum seekers and refugees in the world. 70 million. And the population here in Australia is 100,000.
Yeah.
That's not
Small percentage.
0.00001%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we says that we are far bigger than this. we have initiated multiculturalism. Let's keep this tradition alive.
Yep.
Let the rest of the world to follow us.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter whether they are racist.
Yep.
They're mean and nasty, and they have this anti-sentiments, but they are following us on multiculturalism.
Yep.
So let's keep the tradition
keep
alive.
being the leaders.
Yep. Be leading a diversity.
I'd like to think, John, that I can share this episode with as many people as possible because I love your message and I love what we've spoken about with me today. So thank you so much for your time.
I'm really blessed to sort of have this opportunity to speak to Australians, to my fellow Australians.
They're the messages that actually need to get out and about, not so much of what we typically see in the media.
Yeah.
Which once again, thank you so much for your openness and thanks for the tea.
Oh, pleasure.
Beautiful.
Love to be hospitable, and give hospitality because it's in our culture, and we would like to extend it to our fellow Australians.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, John.
Yep, appreciate it.